Welcome, welcome, welcome to Dropping a Morning Log with Jivko.
Hello, good morning, beautiful people of the world. I just watched a video shortly that kind of inspired my thoughts here today, and the video was one of my acquaintances from just growing up, Scallon. He is a somewhat of a big YouTuber. Over 1 million people kind of follow him, and he's kind of built himself up a nice little fan base, and big enough to where he has been, his primary instrument is guitar, and he's just been making like little guitar movies and all this stuff, and it's really interesting because the most recent video I just saw today was him going to his hometown guitar center and seeing that his guitar, a custom-made guitar that a manufacturer kind of helped him, produce, is now being sold at all guitar centers, including the one in his hometown. And it was just like such a formative moment and formative video, because you see him, walk into this place, walk into just like essentially a random guitar center store, just a guitar store, and just pick up a guitar on the rack that was actually, custom made by him, has a signature on it, all of this stuff, and, people throughout the store start coming up to him as they realize who's there that day, and, kind of greet him, shake his hand, take a photo with him. It's very inspiring to see where he's gotten in the short amount of time that he's been doing what he does. And, what he's been doing is, I think within the last 5 years, he went from essentially working full-time, or rather part-time, at a local library and doing YouTube videos in his spare time, and he went from that to just YouTube full-time. And there's a bunch of other places he posts his stuff, and he has his own following base as well on, God, what's that one that people just kind of support you? It's like a super subscribe type of thing. I can't think of it right now, but anyway, so he has quite a bit of a following, and he just makes everything for fun, and he does a very good job at what he does, and he's been doing it for so long that he's got an eye for it and a knack of doing his own thing. And it's really inspiring to see, though, that what he's gotten himself into and the type of foundation and love that people have for him, and it's just inspiring. And that, today it was just awesome to hear what he's got given to himself, the love that he's basically built up, the love in people for him. And it's a really interesting thing. I think it's awesome. In my opinion, there's nothing better than being able to help someone and get through something, or just someone being a fan of your work, and like so much so that they're willing to, get extremely excited about everything, and it's awesome. All in all, I think that there's nothing else like helping people out in the world, helping people grudge through their normal day life, because people need help, man. People can't do it alone. People need inspiration constantly. There's a quote that I heard earlier, not too long ago, that kind of, rang so true to me, and that was that inspiration is kind of like working out. You always have to keep doing it and keep finding inspiration to do what you're doing, and it's so true. It's not like you get inspired once and then you just get fired up forever. That fire kind of fades after a little bit from the initial trigger, and people need to stay inspired. So there's always, in my opinion, going to be a market for that. Not only a market, but just like people needing that inspiration in many different ways, whether it's through beautiful music, or stories of people being successful. Just like today, that to me was such a great success story in itself. Just to see a video of, one of my old acquaintances and friends. I mean, I would call him a friend. It's not like, I really hung out with him all the time or anything like that, but I've done work with him in the past, and he's a really good guy, and I'm a big fan of him. But yeah, so what I'm trying to get at is it kind of inspired me to not only record today, but also I've been already talking about this kind of sort of project that is meant to essentially showcase a certain way or a series of like different skills that you can develop that you don't necessarily have to be a professional to develop. And you could just do it on your own time. As long as you have the dedication to develop your skills, you can achieve what a lot of people, like a higher level than a lot of people have achieved that do, whatever professionally these days. And it's just interesting to kind of contemplate how improvements take place and just see the showcase of it. It's important for people, I think, because a lot of people get discouraged when it comes to developing themselves or starting something new that, they've never delved into before. I think it's something that everyone at one point in time in their lives get into, whatever they start. They never start at level 13 or something of some sort of development. You always start at ground level, zero. You always start with no knowledge of it, and then you just have the curiosity, and you have the practice of actually pushing your skill level and pushing yourself to that uncomfortable position of improvement, and kind of trying to figure out your own way about it and all this and that. So I think it's it's a life skill, to be honest. Like the act of learning skills and working on yourself and self-improvement is a life skill in itself, because that's how you do everything. That's how you get to where you are with every single skill. And I think that's an important thing to know how to do, and everyone should be able to have that knowledge. And yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it. All right, bye-bye.